Hey, welcome back, everybody. Okay, I'm here in my blanket from this morning, this earlier this afternoon that we made together. And it's all warm and cozy, and it's still freezing up here. And I still have purple fingertips. And now we have construction people outside. I don't think you guys can hear too much of it, at least I'm hoping you can't. It's like super distracting for me. So my squirrel brain might be like doing this in the middle of our craft. But my warm blanket is keeping me warm. Okay. Trying to get my fingertips back to normal color. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so we are going to be doing our candle, which I actually have in front of me here because I'm trying to warm my fingertips up. And candles work pretty well for that. They work pretty well. All right, so we're going to be making this really easy project here. I'm going to actually blow it out because I need to show you. So it's really cute with this metallic vinyl. Just super easy to personalize these. I really love this project. It's so fast once you know how to apply the vinyl to the surface. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in pretty quick here. I know there's still some people getting on. If you joined us this morning, let me know. If you're joining us for the first time today, let me know where you're watching from as well. We had lots of people from up north, and it was super chilly. We're in Florida, and it's not chilly really by definition, but it's also very chilly for us. All right, so like I said, we're gonna make these candles, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do the setup as well as how to type out your own message in Design Space if you don't want to use the designs that I provide for our A-Star crafters. And I know there's going to be a lot of you who are joining us for the replay version of this because of the timing of when we do these lives. So if you are not watching live right now with us and you're catching this later on, please still leave comments, please still ask questions, please still engage with us. We're here to help you each step of the way. So let's talk about supplies first, and then I'll go into sharing my screen with you guys, okay? So supplies. You're gonna wanna have, obviously, a candle blank of some kind. There are lots of different options out there, and they don't have to be expensive. So I got these at Target, and they were running a sale. I think they were they weren't that expensive. They were like $6 or something. Like yeah, these were like $6, so not too bad in the grand scheme of things. They're nice. Like these are a 2-wick candle. The one I had just a second ago here is a 3-wick candle, and I got this at Michael's craft store. What were these again, babe? You said these were like $6.99. $6.99. But they also were running some sales on other things where it was like 3 for $10 and stuff like that. So they have lots of options. This one here at Michael's, they have in different colors, red and silver and blue. So very pretty options, and the vinyl sticks well to it. Also check out like your dollar store, Walmart. You can check out, Marshall's Home Goods, yes. Oh, and White Barn. If you have one near you, they're doing like buy 3 get 3 free right now. So if you're batching this and you need like a bunch of candles, go get that, and you'll be able to buy 3 get 3 free. So that's awesome. I was poking around this weekend looking for those deals for you guys. You're going to want to have permanent vinyl, okay? Any permanent vinyl can work. There are 1,000,001 different types of textures and colors. So there's holographic, and there's metallic, and there's pearl, and there's this textured, like brushed sort of textured metallic that I'm going to be using. This is by Cricut, okay? So if you are interested in using this one, you can find it on Amazon or on Cricut's website. Just type in like metallic textured permanent vinyl, and you'll find this. They have like a gold, silver, a black as well. I did the black in this one, so that one turned out pretty good. All right, so you're going to need to have your permanent vinyl, and you'll need to have transfer tape as well. Okay, so transfer tape is what allows us to take the vinyl from this liner to put it onto the blank that we're going to be placing it onto. And then you will need to have a weeding tool, obviously, to weed your vinyl. I'm going to be using a standard grit green mat, okay? And you'll also need something to burnish your vinyl. So I like to use the Cricut scraper tool for that. And I also like to have a brayer tool on hand to press my material to the mat. And then you're going to want to have something to measure your crafting blank with. So you want to measure like the surface area of your candle to see like what size, do you want things to be. So some sort of like measuring tape. It's super handy. Hi, Liberty. Would you like to say hi to everybody? Come here. Will you say hi? Hi. She was cozying up to my foot there. She wanted to say hello to everybody. All right. So let's go ahead and first see if I have any questions. Hey, Paula. Hey, Virginia, Minnesota. Yep. Welcome back, everybody. Okay. So we had a lot more people earlier today. But I think the timing of this afternoon, people being in rush hour, it's a little bit rough. So I hope you all are catching the replay. I hope you're catching the replay. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to dive into Design Space so I can share my screen with you, and I can show you how I would set this up and how you can type out your own phrase if you wish to, okay? I really hope you guys can't hear too much of that noise. All right, so share my screen, you guys. Share screen. Entire screen. All right, so I am here in Cricut Design Space. You can, of course, use a different cutting machine if you would like, and just follow the basic principles that I'm teaching here. So we have our home screen here, and you can click on New Project, or you can go over to the canvas at the top to just open up a fresh canvas. And I'm going to go ahead and start by uploading the design that I provide. So if you would like the design that I'm going to show you here as just one example, the breathe in, breathe out, and I have a few others, that's part of your A-Stars membership. So you can find that link below in the video description. For our Fast and Festive 5 collection, this is video 2. And you can download this file, and then I'll show you how to type them out as well. So I'm going to click on Upload. This is the design panel. I'm going to click on Upload to the left, and we'll click Upload Image. I'm going to locate the file on my computer. So I have this nice little preview here, but yours might look like a Firefox, an Edge, or a Chrome icon, and that would be your SVG. And I'm going to click Continue at the bottom after I drag and drop it right there to the upload area, and then it'll come right here into Cricut Design Space on the canvas. Okay, so these are just some cute little phrases that I came up with, and you don't have to use any of these. You can type out your own. I'll show you how to do that, but they were just cute ones that came to mind for me. I love the one that says, "Oh, look, mom's last nerve, and it's on fire." You could totally substitute somebody else's name if you wanted to as well. Super little like fun kitschy gift to be able to give to somebody. All right, so actually let me undo that real quick. If you want to ungroup this, you're going to right click and hit ungroup, and then you'll be able to move these around individually to separate out what you want or what you don't want, okay? I'm going to do this breathe in and breathe out, and then I'm just going to kind of click and drag over these here and group it using this group icon. There's multiple ways to do the same thing in Design Space. So using this group icon here, and I'm going to hide it using this eyeball tool. That way it's off my canvas while I'm working with this, okay? So that's one option for you. Now, if you would like to type out your own design, you can use the text tool in Design Space. Over here in the design panel, you'll see the text option. And if you click on that, a text box is going to appear for you here, okay? So you can kind of bring it over here. Let me zoom in for you guys. And when you need to edit your text, if you've clicked off like this, and then you click back on, you're going to see this transformation bounding box here. But if you need to actually edit the text and get a cursor in there, you're just going to double click and it's going to highlight it. And then you can place your cursor wherever you want to be able to type like something else out, okay? So I actually didn't come prepared with something that I was going to type. So do you have anything funny that I should type? Do you guys have something you want me to type in here? Can't be too long. My husband says, "Let's get lit." I don't think he's filtering this through the offensive filter, right? But that's okay. That's okay. It's a candle. I know it's a candle. It has implications though. My fire. That has more implications. He is railroading this live. That's okay. That's all right. Let's see. Okay. All right, so that was fun. Okay, so I'm gonna do something just super simple. We'll just do Hello Winter. Okay. Something super simple to demonstrate with. So it's usually going to default to like this Cricut Sans font here, but if you want to change it, and if you're not somebody who subscribes to like the Cricut Access, then I want to show you how to get their free fonts in here if you want the free font. If you're in our A-Stars as well, there are also 3 fonts that I have provided for you in there. So they're all named after me. It's Abbi Kirsten 1, Abbi Kirsten Duo, and Abbi Kirsten Cursive. So I'll show you what those look like too. You will have to install them on your computer. Now, if you've never installed a font, don't worry. I have a post on that for you. It's not very hard. You just double click to open the file and hit install. And then can you go to the website and can you find the font installation guide and just pop it into the comments? That way, if anybody's wondering, they can see that and then they can go to it. But we're going to start with a Cricut free font here just for those demonstration purposes, okay? So with this typed out, I have it selected and I'm going to click on the font option here. And when you do, you're going to usually see all like the Cricut fonts first. And you are going to want to play with these filters. So this filter option right here, where I'm hovering, has like the little one. You can choose by free. Is it like a writing style if you're using a pen, which we're not doing, but that's there if you want to know if that's there. I'm just going to select free because I want to see what our options are in that case. And there's quite a few options there for free. It says there's over 100 fonts. And some of these will come and go, just so you know that some of them are limited time. So that's not uncommon. So you might see different options if you're watching this at a different period and you're watching a replay like way down the line, because all of these lives go into our vault for people to access forever. So let's just pick something kind of random here. I'm just going to pick this one. Okay. And if you click on it, it's going to change the text for you. Maybe not the prettiest font for what we're going for, but you can see how to change the fonts using what Design Space offers. So that's one method to do that, okay? Another method is to use a system font, so something you would install. And you went ahead and dropped that into the comments.
I did.
Did. How to upload fonts to Design Space. He is on it. Okay, and I'm sharing my screen now. I'm like, backstage, everybody. All right, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to double click because I want to change this font again. So I just want to show you an alternate. So if I double click in here to highlight everything, you actually don't have to do that, but I always do it automatically. And you come back up to the font up here. If you see the option at the very top that says system, system is going to be where anything you install on your computer or device. So if you install, let's say you install my Abbi Kirsten cursive font, okay, that's available in that Fast and Festive 5 collection in the vault. Let's say you install that. It's going to show up under system here. Now, if you go and try to use Cricut Design Space on a different computer and you haven't installed that font on a different computer, it's not going to show up for you. So it's by the computer, okay? So just want to make sure that that's clear, like that's the default that it takes. So when I started, I was like, why isn't my font appearing? I'm in my account, like why is it in there? Like, oh, it's a system font. It's not in this system, it was in my computer system. So I always like to clarify that because I know that can be super confusing. It's just, you don't know what you don't know, right? Okay, so if we toggle over to system, then you can find any fonts you've installed. Obviously, you can see I have a lot of fonts installed. I've been doing this a long time. These top fonts here, the Abbi Kirsten Cursive and the Duo 1 and the Duo 2, those are the fonts that are available that I have created for you guys. If you like some of the other fonts that I'm demonstrating here, I also have those linked in the download section, right beneath the download section in the vault. You'll see where the supplies are like all listed, and there's additional font suggestions there as well. There's some great, there's like lots of other free fonts out there. Creative Fabric is a great font source as well. So I've linked some other options for you as well. Lots of ways to do things. Let's go ahead and just choose, I'm just going to choose this font here, one of mine. Okay. And we can see that that has changed there. When you're working with something like this, where it's smaller, it's not very big, you've got to be mindful of the fonts you're picking. Because if you do not pick a font, or if you do pick a font that is like super script, like this is somewhat skinny, but if it's too skinny, if it's too fragile, if it's too detailed, and now the size is small on top of it, you're probably going to either end up with things tearing, potentially falling apart on you. I've actually had it fall apart on me, or just transferring it is going to be really hard. So try to think, I can do cursive, I can do script, but make sure it's got some weight to it, and it's not so like, it's not like a pen stroke, if that makes sense. So that's how you can type out your own font. You can put whatever you want on these candles. Now, if you want to break the lines up so that it's not one straight line, maybe you want hello to be on top and winter to be on the bottom, You can put your cursor back in here, so double click in the box, and then just hit enter. I'm actually going to backspace and then hit my enter or return key. And now it's on 2 separate lines. But I don't like the space that's between the lines, right? We want to tighten that up, okay? So in order to tighten that up, we can ungroup it into 2 separate lines and then manually shift it to where we're happy. So at the top, with this selected, you'll see an advanced option. If you click on the advanced option, it'll tell you that you can ungroup to lines, which is what I'm going to click on. And now I can select the word winter and the word hello separately, and I can adjust this how I want. Maybe I even want one of these words to be slightly smaller or slightly bigger for whatever reason, or I want it offset in a different way. However you want that to be, whatever brings you the most joy, you can adjust it and fine tune it here. So that's how you would add text. That's how you would type out a different phrase, and then you have lots of options on what you can choose for your fonts. Do you have any questions so far? Good. I'm glad we don't have any questions, but don't be shy. If you have a question, there are no stupid questions, okay? There are no stupid questions. You may ask whatever you need to. Because if you're thinking, like I do this all the time, you guys. If you're thinking, I'm not going to ask this question because it's so ridiculous that everyone else already knows the answer, there is at least one other person who has your question and is probably thinking the same thing. So we just need one person to say, here's my question. That's all I need. I always try to be super thorough, but if something is sticking for you, let me know so I can help. Okay, so the last step here before we would cut this out would be to think about our scaling. So I'm going to use the breathe in and breathe out option here. Let's set this aside. Okay, and for like this scale here, if I click and drag over both of those lines, we can see that it's almost 5.5 inches wide and it's a little over 2 inches high. So this is where you want to get your measuring tape. My really janky old measuring tape. I think it's got resin on it and marker and I don't know what else. But you want to measure your blank, okay? It's really important. When you're shopping for candles, as much as possible, try to get something that it has like some size to it. You know, again, like if you're trying to go for a candle that's like that big and put something on it, unless it's like one word, it's probably going to be a little rough for the size. So try to be forward thinking about that as much as possible. It will save you a lot of frustration. So I'm doing this candle here that's still blank. And I'm going to measure mine. And you want to think about, like, you want some grace on the top and the bottom, right? Like you don't want it to be like edge to edge. So mine is 4 inches from top to bottom. So I'm not going to scale any higher than 3 inches, which isn't going to be a problem because this is more long than it is tall. So we need to think about length then. So you could make this wrap around as much as you want, but I like to have it sort of centered enough that you can sort of read the whole thing from, like, if you're looking at it, you can like read the whole thing and you're not like having to do this to read what's actually on it. So something to think about. I would say 4-ish inches wide, maybe 4.5. Going to be specific to your candle though. So measuring tape. Got to measure that. Any questions?
So I was just asking where to find your fonts again.
Oh, hang on, let me get out of here. My fonts. So yes, here, let me just actually show you guys that really quick backstage view. So if you go to the Craft Vault to where your A-Stars downloads live and everything there, you go over to collections and click on the Fast and Festive 5. We're doing this one right here. And you'll have to log in. Right now, I'm not logged in. So if I logged in, you would be able to see like all the download options available in there. They're going to be in here. And they're also, if they're not, I will double check if they're in there. They may actually be under this one. The fonts may be under the stuffy one we're doing tomorrow. I am going to make sure I go in and add it to the candle one. I think I did, but now that I'm saying it, I'm like second guessing myself. So if you do not see the fonts in the candle listing I just showed you, go check the stuffy one. You'll still have access to it there. I will make sure they are under both listings for you right after this live. I can't remember if I put them there. Are they? Did you just check? Or you have to be logged in to be able to see it. Are you sure?
A simple handwriting font.
Oh, no. I mean the uploads. You have to look at the uploads. You'd have to be logged in. The the downloads, not the listings. I'm going to keep teaching. He doesn't know what I'm saying. Okay. All right. So yes, that is where you'll find it. If you want these fonts here, they are listed with the supply where I just showed you in the vault. Everything's in that vault listing. So just go there and read underneath, sign in first, then read underneath, and then you'll find everything you need. Okay. So as far as sizing, I need to reduce this a little bit. It's a little wide. So I'm going to scale this down. And when you scale, do it as a group, okay, to keep those proportions. And then you want to like click, hold, and drag any one of these corners here to go smaller or larger, okay? So I'm going to do mine maybe just a touch over 4, about like that. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go too much smaller than that because it's going to make it really hard to cut and weed all of that, okay? So I'm going to actually just do this example.
The candle script SVG is in the candle font.
I know, I'm talking about the fonts, the OTF files.
Oh,
They're in the reindeer one, the stuffy one. I don't think I uploaded them then. They are there, they're just not in both. If you would like to be extra cool and download them right now and then go and re-upload them so that anyone who might be looking in the next like 30 minutes, it's already waiting for them and there's no confusion, that would be like husband of the year style. All right, so make sure you save your project so you don't have to do any of these adjustments again in the future and you can save yourself time. So I'm just gonna call this script candles, nice and simple. If you have like a person's name or like an inside joke or something, that can be fun to put on these candles. You could even do the monogram that we did earlier today on the blanket. If you wanted to put that on a candle, that'd be cool too. Lots of different ways. So I'm going to click on make and I'm using my Maker 3. We're cutting permanent vinyl. So you can absolutely cut this with like any of the Cricut machines. You can cut it with like a Silhouette or a different machine that takes vinyl. Most of them do. Even the Joy, the smallest Joy, will accommodate a project like this. So you should be good to go. I'm going to be cutting on a mat. Okay. And then click confirm. Okay. So I left a step out. I left out the step where we use our attach tool so that it doesn't do what it's doing right now. Because on my screen right now, it's separated, breathe in from breathe out. Those have got to stay together. So I'm going to hit cancel and go back here and show you guys what my mistake was. So if you click and drag over that, there's 2 pieces there. If you look in the layers panel to your right-hand side, it shows 2 different selections, right? To hold that placement so that Cricut doesn't jumble it and move it, you want to click the attach tool at the very bottom of the layers panel. And you'll see that action reflected as soon as you click on that in the layers panel as well. Let's try that again. Click make it on that and hit confirm. There we go. Now it is positioned exactly as we want it. And so there is no problem there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cut out. I'll click continue at the bottom corner. And it's going to connect to my Maker machine. I'm connected via Bluetooth, but if you have the USB cable and you prefer to like plug in, you would do that at this point. But if you're Bluetooth like me, that would be connected under your computer settings or your device settings, and then you would just select the machine model that you're using. If you're a crazy human like I am, or a teacher like I am in this world, then you may have more than one machine. You saw my drop-down list. It's so normal for me to see the drop-down list. It's kind of like, it's just like there. And then when I have other people see it, they're like, why do you have so many models connected? Like there's some models on there I don't even have anymore, but they're just like living in my system somehow. I don't know. All right, so as far as material setting goes, that's going to be very specific to what you need and what material you have chosen. I highly recommend a metallic or like a textured metallic for something like this. It just kind of adds that luxurious feeling to what we're creating. So I'm using a premium permanent textured metallic. It is by Cricut. And this isn't like a copper color, but they make it in like a bright gold, and a black, a silver. So there's an actual setting for that. If you're just using like a general permanent vinyl, I recommend coming over to Browse All Materials, and you can type in just the word vinyl and like kind of browse everything they have. And then you'll be able to kind of discern like, oh, I have like a foil type vinyl, so I'll try the adhesive foil. Or I have the textured, so I'll do that. If you've never worked with your type of vinyl before, I highly recommend like do a little test cut, just like a letter or two, small little piece, test cut it, see how it does. Does it actually cut all the way through? Test cuts are your best friend. Test cuts keep you from wasting materials, okay? Not to mention getting frustrated. So I am going to do the textured. That's not how you spell textured. I'm going to do the premium vinyl textured metallic, okay? So I'll select that and hit done at the bottom. All right, and so we're going to load our machine now. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and come back over here. Oh, thank you, Cheryl. You light up my life too. I love crafting with you guys. I love it. Okay, did you get those? Did you see what I was saying about those fonts?
Already done.
You got them in there?
No.
Okay. He says they're in there. They should be in both listings now, the candle and the, I will double check his work afterwards. I trust him, but
No, you don't.
no, I don't. I'm one of those people, I'm so sorry. I'm one of those people where I'm like, if you need something done, you got to do it yourself. It's so bad. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. So I have standard green cutting mat here, okay? And my premium textured metallic vinyl. All right. So anybody ever cut stuff out with their vinyl and then like they didn't read it and then they roll it up and put it away and you're like, huh, there's this vine in there. Like, oh, that's not gonna work. I did that one time and I cut over another design and I was like, huh, well that was a waste. I haven't done it very often. Every once in a while, for some reason or another, I do that. I think it's because I'm like batching. Let me bring you guys down here. I think it's because I'm busy batching too many things at once. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I totally forgot about that piece that I just cut. Okay. So I'm placing that onto my mat here. And I'm going to use my brayer tool to just press that material to the mat. It really helps get those bubbles out, especially if your mat is well worn. I'm using a fresh mat today, just for you guys. Fresh mat. I'll show you all my dirty mats that I have over there, but I got lots of them. And I'm going to go ahead and load this because I already have the material setting right. So my cutting machine back here, I have it powered on. It's connected. Double arrow flashing button at the top. It's flashing for me to load the mat right now, okay? So I'm going to press the mat against the rollers. Hi, Liberty. I'm going to press the mat against the rollers under the little white guides, and I'm going to press the double arrow flashing button to load the mat, okay? And it's going to align the mat, do its little thing. Should I do my move?
What?
I can't move. Okay, so my husband edits videos for me, and so I can't nail a script to save my life when I'm like making scripted videos and they're not live like this. So I usually have to redo it several times, and I get so frustrated with myself. And so I literally will stand there and I'm like, I didn't get it, and I'll like do this like a hammer thing, and so he'll clip out my bloopers and he'll send them to me. And now every time I get frustrated, I realize I do this thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Now I'm self-conscious about it.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're not. So the mat has been loaded. Okay. I'm going to press the play icon that is flashing for me to proceed with the cut. It could look like a play or a Cricut C icon, depending on your model. And we're going to let this go ahead and cut out while we do some prepping. Okay. So I'm going to tell you the right way to do this, and then I'm going to tell you the way that I do it. My way is not the right way. When you're working with a surface, okay, you generally want to clean it. Little light soap and water, just like right there, or like some rubbing alcohol, and then let it dry. That's what you're supposed to do because it gets like any oils from your hands off, makes that vinyl stick really good. I'm not going to lie, on something like this that isn't going to go through a dishwasher or isn't going to be like worn or something, like obviously you wouldn't use rubbing alcohol if you're wearing a t-shirt, but I don't ever really do that. But best practice, best practice would be to actually clean the surface, okay? So let's pretend I do best practice all the time. I love to keep these little alcohol swab wipes in my craft room because they're super compact. You don't have to have like a bottle and then have like tissue on the side or something that you rub with it, or a cloth or anything. So these are super handy. They last forever. Super cheap. Okay. Oops, sorry. Okay. So I'm going to pretend I'm really thorough crafter, and I'm going to clean the surface. Okay. So this just helps get like the oils off from your hands and that kind of stuff. And then ideally after you clean whatever area you're going to place that on, you don't want to like touch it again. You want to let it dry. Let that dry. Over here. Okay. So the cut is now done. I'm going to go ahead and unload the mat by pressing the double arrow button. Okay. Been unloaded. Over here. And then I'm going to bring you guys. So let's go ahead and flip the mat over. And then I'm going to peel the mat away from the material like this. Nice gentle curl. Okay. And I can see where I need to cut here. So I'm just going to grab a pair of scissors. You can also use a straight cutter, which is a really great way to like keep your edges straight. And then you kind of would break down the scraps separately. But I'm just going to use the texture can make it a little challenging to see where to cut. Does anybody else like overestimate? Like, I know it's not that high, but I don't want to accidentally cut my design off. Yeah, I do that too. So I'm going to be sloppy. Just do a little cut like that. Okay. Now, because this is like, you know, curling, it's super annoying. So I'm going to press it back onto the mat so it kind of holds it flat. And we'll grab our weeding tool. Okay. And I'm going to come to the corner. Now, this is like the most delicate font that I would ever do. And I would never go smaller than this because you can see how like thin the letters already are. And you kind of want to pay attention that everything's releasing. If not, you might need to kind of like use the tool to sort of poke it back down to the liner. Looks like everything's going okay so far. So far. Anybody like on the edge of their seat right before they go to do vinyl? Like before you weed it, you're like, oh my gosh, is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? Yes. It worked. All right. So there we go. We got that initial weed out. Now we need to go into like the smaller pieces, which is where that weeding tool really comes in handy. So we were weeding earlier for our video earlier. For if there's anyone on here who didn't catch our blanket video earlier, the replay is up on the YouTube channel, but you'll have to access it through the vault because it's only for our A-stars. So you can go into the vault and then scroll down for the blanket one under the Fast and Festive 5 and you'll find the link to the replay. But we had some great suggestions about like, you know, if you're having trouble weeding, sometimes putting in like cornstarch and baby powder. I think that's a little bit more for like iron-on, because if you do that with like adhesive, it's going to stick. And that's the downside. So there's a little bit more patience involved, I guess you could say, when weeding this. But the tip for heat transfer vinyl, for like black heat transfer vinyl, was put a little cornstarch, baby powder, or flour on it, and it'll kind of etch the lines a bit more of where you need to weed. And so I'm just poking here with my tool. I can see it pretty well. Like, it's kind of obvious. It's probably not obvious on camera though. All right. Like, this is the most scripty script I would do. And this is even probably pushing it a little bit. And I have a fairly sizable candle, so I can kind of get away with it. But, oh, it's stuck. Don't you hate when that happens? Okay, there we go. All right. All right, there we go. Okay, yay. Okay, now it's time for the dreaded transfer tape. I know. And if you guys want to know what transfer tape I'm using, there is links to that below in this video description. And when you're logged into the craft vault as an A-star, if you click on the candle one, you'll see them listed there as well. Try to put it everywhere so you don't have too much trouble finding it. This is like a nice bulk roll from Amazon. And it's pretty sticky, I'm not going to lie, but it's not so sticky that I've ever had problems with getting the vinyl to release. Okay. So I am just going to cut a piece of this off. I like to cut them straight, even though I don't need that much. I sort of cut it down. And then I take these and I stick them to like the side of my desk, and then I just use them next time. It only works if you're doing it relatively quickly. Otherwise, like dust and lint and pet hair will like collect on them. So you can put them on like between sheets of like maybe parchment paper or something like that. So that's a fun little hack for you. Okay, so here is my transfer tape. We're gonna go ahead and put this straight down on top of our design. Okay, now we need to burnish. So our Cricut scraper tool, you can use a credit card also if you don't have this. Something that's got a nice stiff edge to it like this. And you want to work at like a 45-degree angle. So not so much up and down, not like this, but like at a 45-degree angle. And you'll go back and forth. Our construction people are wrapping up, I think. Looks like they're rolling up the whatever that big post thing is. I have this big window over here. It's like super distracting. All right, so rubbing back and forth several times over that surface. And now I'm gonna flip the mat over and I'm gonna get all this off together like this. Okay. And then for this part, you wanna always flip face down and burnish from the back. This helps more than you realize with getting that vinyl to release. I have spent my years, I have done my time of frustration when it comes to transferring vinyl, and I will tell you every time the 3 things I do that make it so much easier is you burnish from the front, you burnish from the back, and then you lift the liner away from the transfer tape instead of the transfer tape away from the liner. And I'm going to start at one end and I'm going to slowly pull that back. And this is going pretty well. But if anything catches, kind of hoping it does, but it doesn't look like it's going to. Oh, there we go. Oh, it did almost. It was starting to catch on the liner. If that happens, you press with your thumb and you like sort of crease the liner and then roll away. And it will usually release. Like this is what I do a lot too with like smart vinyl because that liner is super stubborn. And so this works pretty well. There we go. Okay. So we've got that transferred there. Okay, now we need to put onto our candle, right? Now, when it comes to working with like curved surfaces, guys, this is not bad. This is a pretty, what I would call like wide curved surface to work on. But if you're working with like an ornament, or which we have lots of ornament tutorials for A-stars in the craft vault as well. So go check those out. Go look at the whole Christmas section. If you haven't dived into the Christmas section yet, go dive into the Christmas section. There's lots in there. But if you're trying to go onto a curved surface, it can feel really like intimidating to do that the first time because you feel like you're going to get it wrong or it's going to be bubbly. So this is not an example where I would say you must do what I'm about to share with you, but it is a good back pocket tip to know. One of the ways that getting your vinyl onto a curved surface is a lot easier, gotta grab some scissors, is to cut little slits around in the transfer tape, not on the design, but the transfer tape, because what it does is it allows flexibility to the transfer tape so you can get that design on without your design bubbling because the transfer tape is bubbling, if that makes sense, okay? This is especially important for like ornaments. This design I could probably get away just fine without doing this, but I'll cut these little slits around and it adds some much needed flexibility to the transfer tape. Okay. All right. Now it's time to add this. And when you're adding something curved, you kind of need like something to hold it. And they make like holders for that. But let's pretend we're not fancy and we don't have one because I'm not fancy and I don't have one. You can grab any tools and you can honestly use those to just keep it from rolling. Okay. So I would maybe just grab like 2 tools like this. Yeah, the Cricut scraper tool works good too, but I'm going to use it in a minute. Like I have more than one. So if you have more than one Cricut scraper tool, this works great as a stopper for things like that. And I do have more than one, but I know not everybody does. So if you don't have more than one, don't sacrifice your tool. And you're like, wait, what do I do now? I will say you don't need the scraper tool as much for curved surfaces because you use your thumb more. So yeah, that's a very good idea. Thank you for the suggestion. So we'll use the spare one there. Now I'm going to go ahead and place this on. So you kind of just want to hover over. I would love to say there's like a super spectacular way to get it like perfect, but there really isn't. But when you have your transfer tape and you kind of hover directly over the top, you can get a pretty good sense by moving things around if you're in the right spot. I like to pay attention to the top, like the line of what I'm actually looking at, what's going to be read. Is that kind of straight with the top of the candle? Okay. And so I'll always place down in the middle first, not end to end, but middle, because that's going to really help with like wrinkles and things like that. Start from the middle and work out on each side. So I'll press down in the middle and I'll let it just gently fall. You can use your scraper tool to kind of like just start brushing that on, so to speak. Not really brushing, but patting, encouraging. For things like this, once I kind of just get it on there, I can use my thumb much easier than this because you've got to be really specific with where you're pressing. So at this point, I would probably pick this up and I would start pressing from one end to the other. And you can kind of see how the transfer tape is like getting pushed against it. And that's when you know you're applying like good pressure and you're getting it on there and all of that. So I'll go back and forth with my thumb. And if this just isn't an option for you, you can still do this. You can also use a tennis ball. That can help. Because I know for some people it's like, oh, it hurts my hand or something like that. Totally get that. So if this isn't an option, those are some other ideas for you. Okay. So I've got that pretty well pressed on. And then the final step here will be to take off our transfer tape. Okay. And the transfer tape might come off in pieces at this point because we cut those slits in it. Okay. So let me start at one corner and peel back. And then like you can tell pretty much right away, is it sticking or not? And we can see that it is. If it's not, put it back down and really use like the ball of your thumb to just kind of like press, 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 press. Maybe try the tennis ball if you have one or a similar type of ball. That can help. For the most part, mine is going well. I think I put this on a tiny bit crooked. We shall see. There we go. All right, it actually came off all in one piece. I wasn't expecting that. If it comes off in pieces, that's not abnormal, so don't worry, you're not doing anything wrong. Yay! Look at our pretty personalized candle. Let me turn that around. There we go. And I just love the metallic with like this because it just feels super like expensive and I don't know. It feels extra special to me. Use any vinyl that you want that's permanent vinyl, but I really love this textured like metallic look. It's just really pretty. Okay, let me bring you guys up here. Yay! We did it. Now we have our candle and we have our blanket and we have vinyl I just threw on the floor. And I think if you're someone who wants to do like sort of a gift set, like these would make such gift sets. So this was the one we did earlier together in the other live. And now we have our candles. Like a cozy candle and a blanket, super cute, right? Put anything you want onto this. Super easy. What questions do you guys have for me with this project? And are you going to be making this project? I would love to know. I would love to see your projects. Make sure you share in our Facebook group if you're in there, or send us a message at hello@abbikirstencollections.com. I really want to see your projects. We're going to be doing a new part of the experience for A-Stars. It's featuring y'all's pictures to the rest of my community. So we'll be doing like, we call it the star of the show. And every month we pick some people who submit their photos via email, Facebook group, and we basically just like give you a celebratory shout out for your creations in our community. They don't have to be perfect, y'all. It's okay. We've all been there. So show us something you learned, a project in process, maybe a mistake you made that you were able to laugh off and learn something from. Like show us all of it, the messy middle and everything. We celebrate that just as much as a winning project, okay? Let me check for questions real quick. Not too many. You guys are awesome. So I hope it means I'm answering everything that you need. Like, don't be shy to ask questions. All right, so how much fun is this? I absolutely adore it. We are going to be doing 3 more. This is the second one out of our Festive 5s. So candle was the second one. Blanket was the one we did earlier. Tomorrow, we're doing stuffies. So look how cute. Super cute. And I did this one. I got these at Target. So if you like these little guys, run to Target. They have them. They have like snowmen and little Christmas trees too. They have lots of options there. My husband was super smart and he said, what about squishmallows? My kids love them. So if you're looking for like maybe something bigger to work with, try Squishmallow. Go get one of those. There's so many knockoffs now. I don't know whether it's Squishmallow, Squishmallow, Squishmelons. Like, I swear there's every version. Like, he's got, like I said, like there's every version of the knockoff now, but I know there's like the original one too. But these are super fun for kids. Coworkers and friends are going to love them too, guys. But if you also have like a new, maybe baby in the family, maybe a granddaughter, niece, nephew, whatever. I got a new niece this year. So we did her name and then it was her first Christmas with the year on it, which is super cute. So we're going to be making these tomorrow for our 3rd out of our 5 festive ones. Yay, you're going to be doing both, Tammy. I can't wait to see your project. Can't wait to see them. Yay. All right. So this has been so much fun, you guys. I'm going to see you tomorrow at, what's the time tomorrow? Is it 4:30? Let me double check. I'm going to double check because I don't want to be like, I said it wrong here. And then y'all are like, oh no, she's not there. Yeah. 4:30 tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time. We'll be making our stuffies together. So I have this little guy already. Let me grab him for you. I have this little guy that I might do, just like this one, but I'm also thinking of maybe doing the bigger one because I have a penguin. Look how cute he is. He's super big. He's got a big tummy to put something on. I don't know what I'm going to put on him yet, but I'll show you how you can I can show you how you'll type out this stuff, kind of like I did today. And these fonts here are the ones that are available for A-stars, my fonts that I designed. So you can get these exact fonts if you like them, and they'll be in there. I'm thinking I might try to do the pink. We'll see. We'll see what happens. If you guys are wondering, this is the brand Mumbles, Mumbles. They're a UK company, so they are a little hard to like get your hands on if you don't have at least like a week. Like they're not an Amazon fast thing. So if you're like planning for like the future, you're like, I want to do these again in the future, but I want this exact item. Like be forward thinking with that because the timing on it can be a little hard since it's got to ship from the UK. But there's lots of stuff you at Target, Walmart, Squishmallows, like my husband said. So like there's lots of options. You don't have to use these. The process will apply. Okay. So cute. Okay. Yay. All right, you guys. So I've had so much fun with you today. 2 lives back to back. I don't think I've ever done that before. That's like a record. That's a new achievement for me. Yay. Okay. I'm going to find something cute to put on this penguin tomorrow. I think I'm probably going to do him. And I'll also show you how I type this out. I will see you guys tomorrow at 4:30. On Friday, we're doing the journals. We're doing the journals on Friday. So hopefully you'll be able to join us then. And that one will be at 12:30 on Friday, Eastern time. And then we're also doing, thank you, the photo pillow collage on Saturday at 12:30. And then we have our first craft tech talk that's happening on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So for anybody who has any questions about craft tech or techniques, like techniques of application, craft tech for like design space or something else, you can ask us a question via the form. If you're in our email list, the form already went out, but there is the form linked in this video description too. So scroll down, click on see more, and scroll over further to see craft tech talk. And there's a form to submit your question to. So we'll do a live Q&A then where I'll be answering a bunch of very specific questions around technology and technique. Okay, you guys, you have been amazing today. Thank you so much for spending time with me, my beautiful 8 stars, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye for now.